Hey, welcome back to Come Out on Top with Robin Kemp. I'm Robin Kemp, your self development coach, and my goal is to empower you to be the best version of yourself and to enjoy the process. So, today we are talking about perspective, the power of perspective. Now, what is perspective? Perspective is just the definition of perspective is a particular way of understanding or viewing something. Essentially, it's your point of view. So we all have our own personal perspective on things. And your personal perspective is based on your life experiences, your belief system, or your beliefs and your values. So everyone has their own personal perspectives on life. And it's based on really like what you've been through, how you've been raised, the culture you grew up in, your life experiences, things you've been through personally, and your belief system, your religion, or different beliefs that your family might have raised you believing. Different things that your values and different things like that. So that's what your personal perspective is based off of. But the goal of this teaching today is to help us to develop a healthy perspective in life overall. That we want to have a healthy perspective, because some people have negative perspectives about different things because of different things that have happened in their life, experiences that they had. But the goal is to be able to change and develop and to have healthy perspectives in life, because your perspective can kind of dictate how your life will go, or what kind of it'll be positive, negative, or what basically the how your life will go. Your perspective kind of guards that or guides that. So the first thing we want to talk about is being purposeful in our life, just in general, like having purpose and having goals, and knowing that our perspectives line up with the purpose that we're pursuing or the goals that we're pursuing in life. That way, we can have the most positive perspective when we're, looking towards, those goals, and being purpose driven when we're, making decisions or thinking about things and how we want to view things and how we want to do things. Okay. So the next thing is going to be being open to new information. Our perspective can't change, or we can't grow in our thinking or our perspective if we're not open to new information and receiving new information. And the way to receive new information is by, reading a book. You can open up a book, read a book about something, read a book about something different, or read a book about something that you're thinking about, you're pondering, or, you may be open to your perspective being changed on. So, open the book. If you don't want to buy the book, rent the book. Like, go to the library. You still have libraries. I remember my aunt had told me one day that her girlfriend was talking, and she was saying, like, no, who goes to the library? Nobody goes to the library no more. And I was like, well, I'll go to the library. I got a library card, She's like, nobody had library cards and stuff. I'm like, I have a library card. Me and Jane both got library cards. I go to the library. Actually, I'm reading a library book right now. Like, I go to the library because I love to read, and I have so many books. It's like, I don't need another book on a bookshelf. I don't even have space for another book on a bookshelf. So I have to go to the library, to get these books so I can read these books. But that's an option. Watching podcasts. You're here on a great podcast, but there's so many other great podcasts out there that you can hear other people's views and opinions about things, and it might help, elevate your perspective. You may even change your perspective, but you might see things in a different light. Some of my favorite podcasts are Hardly Initiated. I love that podcast. I love the Mindset Mentor podcast. That always challenges me in my thinking. So look out. There's so many podcasts. Mel Robinson. There's so many podcasts out there that you could watch and get another perspective on things. And also being in conversation with people that think differently than you. Just one conversation with another person can really change how you think it, your view of things, and how you view things, help you view things through a different lens, because you're hearing somebody else's take on it. Like, your take is not the only take. Other people have maybe been through the same thing you went through and went and did it differently, and had a different result than you got. So it's like just being open to new information and seeing like what other people are thinking, how other people think, how other people view things, and it really is good. I loved my opinion or my way of seeing things to be challenged. So I'm like, wow, I never thought about it that way. I love to be challenged in my thinking or my view of things. So the second thing is going to be spiritual growth. So whatever you do for a spiritual growth, I know for me, I'm a Christian. I believe, Jesus died for my sins. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. So my thing I go to is, my religious book is the Bible. So I look at the Bible to find, and I believe that God's perspective is the greatest perspective. So at the end of the day, if God says it, that's the perspective that I want to have. I want to be led by the Almighty, and the way to do that is to open up the Bible and read the Bible. Ask God about the different things. See what God is saying about, for your finances. See what God is saying about your relationships. See what God is saying about the different things that you may be going through, to get the ultimate perspective on these things, and that is going to be God's perspective. So take time to study, go to church, listen to the sermons, research, go do your own research, open the Bible, start doing some studies. That you can read the book of Proverbs, you can read the book of Psalms to get you started. Those have wisdom in there, and they'll give you some principles and things to live by. And that can be the perspective you have on these different things going forward. The ultimate, because God is the ultimate perspective that we should be following in the first place. So just be open to that and seek God, ask God to show you, how to view these things that you're going through. What perspective you should have on these things, and stick with that. Even if you hear something outside of what you heard from God, we going with what God says. We're not letting somebody else's opinion buck, what God's word has said, what God has spoken to us. So let's get up with this spiritual growth, and we can have the ultimate perspective when we take on God's perspective. And the next thing is going to be to our spiritual growth. Our spiritual growth, our personal growth. Personal growth is going to be the next thing. We have to work on ourselves. We have to get past the baggage, the trauma of the past. A lot of times our perspective is really based on things that we've been through, hurt that we've been through. So now we might have a negative perspective on different things. A lot of times it's relationships. We think that the next person is going to be like the last person. It was like we have this expectation of that because the perspective has been formed from hurt. And now we got this perspective on relationships that they don't work. Eventually they're going, every man cheats and all that kind of stuff. No, every man don't cheat, So we have to get rid of the baggage, go through counseling, really get some help with that. You may need help to walk you through that, to help you get past some of these negative perspectives we have because of the things that have happened in our past. So we had to go to counseling. You could also do some self-reflection. Take some time and think about, why do I feel this way? Why do I have this perspective concerning this thing? Really think about and include God in that conversation. God, show me. Why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? And let him take you down that journey of discovery of what happened that led me down for me to now feel this way or think this way about this thing. And God will show you. He will take you down that path. It could take you back to, hey, could this happen? It could be something in your childhood. Maybe you're, who knows? It could be something in your childhood that happened that you developed this way of thinking. It's been the same throughout your life, and you still think this way for something that happened years ago that you never healed from or you never dealt with. So once you deal with that thing, you realize, now I have a different perspective now. No, love is out there, there's great things that can happen out there. I don't have to be negative about this situation or this topic or whatever I'm going through because of this thing that happened a long time ago. I can heal from that, grow, and things can change. And the next thing is going to be just to practice gratitude. Gratitude will take you so far, just being grateful for what you have. I call it flipping the script. When anything happens negative, I always flip the script. Okay, what good can come from this? Just having gratitude and seeing the good, the brighter side of things when things happen in your life. Focus on what's going well in your life. Something happens, think about how, just focus on what's going well in your life. It's always something. It's one thing. If it's nothing else, you can thank God that you're alive right now. You have breath in your lungs. You're awake. You can speak. You can walk. You can talk. The activity of your limbs. If nothing else, if you wake up one day and you realize you don't think you have anything else to be grateful for, be grateful for that you woke up. But there's always something that you can be grateful for. And the more you start being grateful, the more you will start seeing things to be grateful for. The more, because you're going to become aware of it. You're going to become more aware of, hey, I do, I do have something to wear. I do have clean clothes. You know what? I do have light. I do have food. I do have food choices. I don't have to eat the same thing every day. Some people eat the same thing every day because the funds are low, but thank God that you don't have to do that. So just being grateful. Focus on that. So what does change your perspective? What could it look like when you have thoughts like when things happen that's not, things happen don't go the way you want. You instead of saying, why did this happen to me? You can say, what is this trying to teach me? So instead of being a victim, but why did this happen to me? Like, well, I didn't do nothing. Why this happened to me? No, you can switch that and be like, what is this trying to teach me? What can I learn from this experience? So now you're not the victim, you're the victor, and you're in an empowered position versus the victim position. So start, what can I learn from this? Because everything is a learning experience. Even the, hey, let's do that again, let's do more of that, or I know what not to do. And that's going to be another example too. If you ever feel like you're not good enough or you're not qualified, like switch that up to like, I'm growing, I'm learning and growing every day. Like you're getting better every day. Especially if you're in a position like this to this podcast or a podcast like this, this is trying to help you to grow, to be better and grow and, be the best version of yourself. So if you really trying to do that, then you're definitely growing and getting better every day because you're intentional about that. So you're going to see the change. You're going to see the difference in your life because you're intentional about that. Because I know when I feel like God told me to do this, start, sharing my story and, doing this type of thing. I was like, I ain't qualified with that. Like I ain't got no degree, which I don't. But I realized that my life experience is my degree. I've been through some things. I've overcome some things successfully. I am, I can help people. I can help people get through hard times. I can help people live their lives better. I can help people because I've done it. And I can just show you what I've done. And we can be on this journey together because it's still a journey for me, learning how to just be the best version. I'm always looking to grow and be better. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to do that. So it's things that you can do to just know that you are getting better every day. And no matter what you're trying to do, you are equipped to do it. You have it on the inside of you and just start doing it. Just take the steps day after day just to do something to show that you do have what it takes. You are qualified. You are good enough. And you're getting better every day. That's what it's going to be. If you're a person that likes to be in control of everything, number one, you can't control everything. Everything, nothing is really in your control. Only thing you can do is plan, the best you can. Do the best you can beforehand to like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Make a plan, do your research, all that kind of thing. But once you implement that thing, if it don't go the way you want it to be, just release it and trust the process. Learn to trust the process. If you did all you can do, or have a way to go, learn to trust the process. It's like walking by faith and just putting trust, like trusting God that like I did my part. Now God you got to do your part. So stop being in control, because being in control will have you stuck, not making decisions because you because you feel like you got to control everything, every aspect of it. You cannot. Just let that go and like walk in peace, knowing that, hey, I did my part, I did the research, I did what I can do. Just put it out there and I'm just going to trust the process. And the last one is going to be if you fail. Everybody fails. If you fail, failure is not the worst thing. I read this book by John Maxwell called Failing Forward. Like you learn more in failure than you do in success. So failure, at least you can learn when you fail what not to do. That's one thing. Okay, I know not to do that. Especially when it helps you make decisions too. If you're worrying about failing, a lot of time it keep you from making decisions. But if you have this thought of I don't care about failure, I know I can learn from failure as well. It helps you when making decisions. Like say if you decide between two, should I do this or should I do that? It's like just try it. Do one. If it don't work, then okay, do the other. So it's like every decision is not a life and death decision. So we don't have to treat it like if you do one thing, okay, try it and see if it works. If it don't, then go on to the next. Like it's not that deep. At least you learn, okay, that one doesn't work. Or if the one you pick works, okay, cool, I did that one. Maybe the other one might work too. You can try that later, but you don't have to be stuck on indecision because you're so afraid of failure. Like no, it is a blessing in failure. You can learn in failure as well. So we don't have to not make decisions because we're worrying about failure, So pretty much perspective, it can be changed. Just be open for new ideas, new input, new insights, and always be knowing that you could elevate your perspective. You don't always have to change your perspective. It could just be elevated and to think differently and to be able to um, be open to share your perspective or hear somebody else's perspective. But don't just be so stuck in your own way, especially if you're negative. If you're negative, you definitely need a perspective revamp. You need to get some different perspectives on how you view things because it's just distorted if you're always negative, and you need to grow from that. So I hope this was helpful. I believe that we can continue to grow when we change our perspective because our perspectives affect our life. Here's one quote that I wanted to share. It said, your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. And our goal is to let it be our passport because a prison, it's confinement. It's no, you can't go, you can't do as you want, do as you please when you're in prison. Prison holds you in a small space where you can't grow, you can't really do what you want to do. Somebody telling you what to do, it's like you're just stuck in the space. But a passport, you can go anywhere you want to go with a passport. It's like a freedom when you have a passport. So your perspective can be your prison or your passport. So let our perspective be our passport. But let it be freedom. Let it free us to live the best life possible. And don't let things that happened in the past keep you from seeing the best in people, seeing the best in situations, that we always see the best. We believe the best. The Bible says to believe the best of people. We believe the best. And so we can experience the best. So I hope this was helpful. And remember, you always come out on top. Peace.